Hello and welcome to episode 62 of the Craving Crypto podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be doing technical analysis on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. So let's get right into this. Hey, what's up everybody? Today we are going to be talking about crypto and whether this cycle is completed or not, because we have a lot of Elliott wave structure here to point towards a completion of the market cycle in both the altcoin markets and the Bitcoin markets. So that's what today's video is going to be covering. It's a pretty exciting subject, I know. And also, I normally upload on Thursdays and Fridays. I'm in the process of creating 2 other businesses and working on a lot of results that I'm accomplishing in my life. So there were some things aside from that I was working on the previous 2 days. That's why I didn't upload. We're getting to it today either way, going over the analysis, and you guys are gonna be really hyped about my other stuff I've got coming out soon. You'll hear more about that later, but just understand that it's going towards some amazing things. This right here is altcoin market cap, the total market cap since the beginning of 2017, and this is 2018, nearing the end. We have a full 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and an ABC corrective process. When we count the subwaves inside of an ABC correction, by definition, there's always a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down in the A wave. You can see that confirms. There's always an ABC up in the B wave. If you look at the subwave right here, there's definitely an ABC. So there's confirmation of that wave set. And then we get the final 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down, so we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 waves on the downside here. This also lines up perfectly with the 88% Fibonacci retracement. So this is a fib level, that 88% level. And it's also the same point that the market cycle grabbed liquidity on before it went hyperbolic and overvalued in 2017. This is a very, very common thing for market cycles to do, to return back to the same place that they grabbed liquidity from. My favorite chart is the market cycle chart. And when you compare the liquidity zone from the market cycle chart to this liquidity zone that we're seeing in Bitcoin, and I mean the altcoin markets, you can see the disbelief, or this red phase, the depression, the contraction phase of the market cycle, is the same point that the disbelief happens where the next market cycle starts. So if we look right here, this right here is that liquidity, that wick comes down. This is the Bitcoin market specifically, huge volume spike and a downward wick. That was liquidity for the parabolic move in the overvaluation. We have now came back and tested that liquidity zone. And the same thing is true for the altcoin total market cap, testing that 88% liquidity zone. With EOS, we have a very similar story as the Ethereum in 2016. I remember watching Ethereum get added to Poloniex and go from a couple dollars down to 50 cents. And then go up to the $14 levels and $6 levels and play this whole cycle out. So if anybody would know, it's me, that this is a very, very similar cycle and fractal, market fractal that we're seeing in EOS as the 2016 Ethereum. That would result in a very, very bullish reaction for EOS in 2019. So that's something I'm watching as well. We're getting similar comparisons to the bigger names. EOS was one of the most hyped, has some of the biggest trading volume, and that's why it's one that you really should pay attention to as it's coming back down onto that 88% retracement and picking up in volume, doing an expanded flat correction. So that means that the B wave exceeded the height of the 5th wave. This is why everybody got shook out and thought it was going to supermoon right here, when it was really just an extended B wave before it needed to come back down. This is why we teach the big market cycles, is because you can have a few different Elliott wave counts. You can have an expanded flat, a WXYXZ, an ABCDE, or a WXY. Those are the most common corrective processes in the market cycle. So if it does one of those other corrective processes, focusing on the really big picture and being patient and letting the cycle bleed out is very, very useful for things like this, because then when you get the cycle back down to these 88% retracement levels and you get your Elliott wave count proper right here, you can have a pretty high degree of confidence that this is an amazing spot to be picking up that EOS at cheap prices. And the same goes for Bitcoin right here with this WXYXZ correction, or you can count it as a falling wedge, an A, B, C, D, E. Doesn't matter. Both of them, by definition, have all ABC subwaves. And that's what we're seeing right here with Bitcoin. This is that accumulation cycle. This was the ABC correction that happened in 2014 that took us down to 150 per coin. This is where I got into Bitcoin, thanks to Andreas Antonopoulos and Joe Rogan, listening to podcasts, working at a Marriott hotel, making $8 or $9 an hour. I would go into the closets while I was at work and watch videos on how to trade, because I was like, I'm more valuable than $9 an hour. Anyway, so this right here is that ABC correction, and then we've got this one wave that was produced all the way up to $1,000, and then you've got that 2, and then this 3 that took us to 5, 4 that took us back to 3,000 per coin, and our 5 wave that took us all the way to 20,000 per coin. This is an extended 5th wave. That's why there was so much hype in the 5th wave, and that's why it went so parabolic, and that's why so many people got attached to the trend at the top, including to myself on some degree, because you have so much hyperbolic movement in a 5th wave that it's hard not to feel some of that emotion. But yeah, that's what caused this corrective process to take place. Now the 618, as you guys know, I teach big picture by fib levels, so the 50%, the 618, and the 786 for liquid markets, and then you may aim for the 786 and the 88 and the 95 for illiquid bubbly markets like altcoins. But Bitcoin is falling perfectly onto that 786 level with beautiful volume. So overall, with the total market cap, the altcoin market cap looking like a clean ABC correction with all the subwaves to match, with Bitcoin looking like a clean WXYXZ or ABCDE, depending on who is telling you. It really doesn't matter, because it's the same theory behind both corrective counts. So it doesn't matter if you throw WXYXZ or ABCDE. You're using the same pivot points, and each point that it pivots has an ABC subwave. So it's exactly the same. But either way, this right here, all of these things lining up perfectly. You guys, there's room for downside. I am aware. But if Dowlin's ever been bullish, it's today. So that's my review of the markets in general. I'm really hyped about 2019 and what it's going to bring. I've been writing up a bunch of results that I'm producing in my life, things that I'm doing, the why of the reason that I'm doing all of this, the value that I'm going to provide for the world, the amount of hunger that I'm going to reduce, the amount of knowledge that I'm going to be sharing, just tons of goals, businesses, results I'm achieving, where I want to be, people that I want to be around, the relationships I have, the house that I want to live in and not have to owe anybody to own that house. I'm paying for cash. The goals and results that I'm listing is very exciting, and I encourage all of you guys. I know it's an entire month early of 2019, but just write up, project yourself. It's so valuable to put the why, why you're doing what you are, the purpose behind what you're doing, and then the results that you want to achieve, and focus on that, because I promise you that the second that you let your subconscious start thinking about ways to help everybody, and therefore helping yourself in return, because if you provide value to the whole community, it gives back. And that's what I'm doing. Like I said, just to give you guys a little taste, I'm working to make 3 businesses. I already have 1. I've already made 1 million in my first business. I've never told anybody on YouTube that, but honestly, I figured, why not? Today's a good day to inspire some people. The markets have been pretty intense. I did 1 million in less than a year at 21 years old, and between 20 and 21. I'm making 3 businesses, and with these 3 businesses, I plan to reduce the amount of world hunger, provide significant economic value, make home appliances cheaper, a bunch of really amazing ideas, and it becomes from a place of why I do it. And the reason I do it is to share love, share knowledge, make the world a better place for the potential of me having kids down the road. You know, I'm 21, but 25 and I'm stable. That's something I have thought about. And I know for a fact that if you set your mind towards something and you tell yourself you can become something more than you are today, you will. And my dreams are to make this world a better place, to bring it closer to a utopia for everybody, so there's more love, less war, more resources, more happiness, more abundance, and less things that are bringing the frequency of humanity down to a low point to where we're hurting our earth and we're hurting ourselves because of it. So that's why I do what I do, you guys. And that's a little bit of inspiration for 2019. Write up your stuff, make it early. You'll be glad that you did, I promise. It really is, at the end of the day, the most important thing is set yourself where you want to go in your life and the reason that you're doing it, and be clear on what those things are and be clear on why you're doing it, and do it for noble causes. Don't just do it for selfish reasons. You know, love yourself so that you can love other people, but do it for reasons that helps humanity as a whole. And that's kind of my little video for the day, you guys. I really appreciate every single one of my high altitude investing subscribers. You guys are the best. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. And, you know, I just remember looking back and feeling so scared and like I had nothing and feeling like I was worthless. And because of my YouTube channel and because I listened to my heart, I feel so much love every single day. Anyways, that's my market update, you guys. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in today's episode. I hope that you learned something. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to drop them in that box below. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next videos. As always, stay profitable out there.